Welcome back. So what we need to figure out is how we can take this token now and send it to the backend using something like the Swagger is doing right here. You'll notice that whenever we send a request where we need an authorization token, we just add the authorization header and put in the word bearer in front of our token when we send that. Now we could do that manually every time we do a request, but that would be kind of tedious. So instead, Angular provides something called interceptors that we're going to use. And what is an Angular interceptor? Let's jump into Angular IO, developer guides, HTTP client, scroll down to interception and request right here, and you can read about this if you want to. Think of the intercept as a way for us to intercept the request before it's sent to the backend, and also when a request comes back from the backend, we can also intercept the request before it's actually showing the response to us in the subscribe in this case. So that's what an interceptor is. Now there are examples here on how to use interceptors, but let's just scroll down to use cases down here, because there's actually one very important one right here that we're going to use like one-to-one pretty much, and that's the authorization interceptor right here. So we'll make an auth interceptor in our code right here, and we'll authorize our user and say if there's a bearer token available, then just add that token. So let's try and use this in our code. I'll jump into our code base and we'll just make a new interceptor. And I'm actually going to make a folder for that. So let's say ng generate interceptor like this. And that interceptor is going to be under auth/interceptors, because you can have many interceptors. That's something that's very important to know. You can have as many interceptors as you want. Actually, to kind of provide the guide, it's just going to create a chain of interceptors that is going to go through step by step. You can have many of these interceptors. In the interceptors, we're just going to make one called the auth interceptor right here, authentication interceptor. Let's just try and add that. We could also have called it the token interceptor. It's really up to you. Now that we have this available, let's try and open it. And again, you'll see most of the code is already written for us. Like right here, we already have the intercept code. We have implementing interceptor, HTTP interceptor right here, and everything is actually already there. We also want to kind of provide, again, we're going to need to use the auth service right here. So let's just provide that inside our actual constructor right here, the auth service. There we go. So now we have that available. Now we just need to figure out how we can actually add the bearer token if there's a bearer token available. So let's start by figuring out if there's a token available, and let's just do it in a couple of lines. So first let's use the token right here, and we'll say auth dot give me token. So get token right here. There we go. And that method isn't created yet, so let's just go and create the method get token. Now the token is going to be a very simple one. Well, let's just go and make the token so that we just return a string right here, or undefined if there's no token available. We can also just return null if there's no token available. And what we'll do is we'll say return local storage dot get item, and then we're going to use the same name right here, JWT token, like this, and hopefully we get the token back right here in our get token method if there's a token available. Sweet. Let's go back to the interceptor, and then we can say if there's actually a token available, so if token is there, then we want to add something. We want to clone our current request and add the token to the request. In the guide, it seems that we can make a clone like this. So let's try and do that and clone our token like this. You can say request, that's of course going to be this request right here. So let's clone it, and then we can add a header like this to that request, and then we can pass this request onward in our system right here. So in this case, we would end up actually calling return next right here with that new request if there is a token, and if not, we're just going to return the normal request right here. Now we also need to do a bit more. We need to add the part bearer right here like this to kind of send a bearer token space, and then add that token we just found right here in the system. So that should actually do so that we now, if we have a token available, we'll add that to our request with bearer and then the actual token right here. And I think it should actually be uppercase bearer. There we go. Now before we can actually use these interceptors, we need to do one more thing. So let's try and dive back to the examples right here. I'll go back to the intercepting request right here, write an interceptor. Let's just scroll down. There's actually something we're missing. There we go. We need to actually do a set up dependency injection for that interceptor actually. So what we're doing right here is we're adding an extra provider saying that we need to be able to intercept with multiple interceptors instead of only one. So besides the default interceptors that might already be in your application, we're going to now explain we want to use one more interceptor in the chain of interceptors when we're sending requests. I know this is kind of tough, but just bear with me for a second right here. I'll jump into my app module right here actually, and here I'll go down to providers, and in providers in the app module, I'll explain I want to start using HTTP interceptors, and the one I want to use is the auth interceptor right here. And I explained this to be multiple, meaning that you can add multiple interceptors if you want to. And again, the way they are provided, the way they will also be chained. So if I had like multiple of these guys, they would then be called one by one for the interception. And that might make sense if you have like an interceptor to send something and an interceptor to receive something later on. But again, let's just start simple again with just an auth interceptor that adds that to our setup. If there's actually a token available, we'll add that to the authorization header right here. Let's try and see that running right now. So again, let's just clean out this local storage. We'll log in and I'll say my username and my password right here. And hopefully I get a token back because I remember my password. There we go. And now if I go to products now, you'll notice something happens, right? It actually added and got access now to the backend. Oh my God, what happened? If we go into network right here, you'll see that the product actually, this request we did to the backend right here, now actually adds the authorize attribute. There it is, with the bearer token, and we actually put in the token right there. There we go. So we have login. We don't have logout yet. We need a lot of more work in order to make it into a real login system, but at least now we can log in. And we can just do that by calling that token right here. So if the token is not available, let's just try and refresh. Boom, you get an unauthorized. If we go in and log in, we'll get the token back and then we can authorize again. So that's how it works with these tokens, and now we can actually log in. So let's just end it right there. Next lesson, we'll just have some more fun with making this more secure and also a better user experience than what it is right now. See you next time. Bye.